Good evening to all. It gives me immense pleasure and great honor to briefly introduce an eminent personality in IVD industry who is with us today. He is none other than Dr. M Vasudevan, sir. His association as Technical Director of Agappe and his immense contribution to us has helped us to be the largest manufacturer of reagents, and that too having a great name in the manufacturing of quality reagents. Dr. M Vasudevan did his MD in biochemistry in the year 1971 and went on to become the Fellow of Royal College of Pathologists in the year 1994. He has been associated with various medical colleges, and to name a few, he was there with Medical College Calicut, Regional Cancer Center Trivandrum, Amla Cancer Research Center, Principal of Medical College Trishur. He had been the Dean of Sikkim Manipal Institute of Medical Sciences and Principal of Amrita Medical College. So these are the various medical colleges Dr. M Vasudevan has been associated with in and around. Dr. M Vasudevan has many honors and awards to his credit, and to name a few, he was awarded with the prestigious Dr. B.C. Roy Award from the Honorable President of India. He is the Fellow of National Academy of Medical Sciences, Fellow of Association of Clinical Biochemists of India. Association of Clinical Biochemists of India, that is ACBI, has honored him with A.J. Thakur Award for Lifetime Achievement and Significant Contribution and Avdesh Sharan Memorial Oration Award. The various memberships Dr. M Vasudevan has is he is member of Scientific Advisory Committee of the Institute of Cytology and Preventive Oncology from ICMR. He is a member of Education and Laboratory Management Committee, Asia Pacific Federation of Clinical Biochemistry. And what is well known to us is the various books he has authored. His first book, first edition, came in 1995. That was the textbook of biochemistry for medical students. It is widely used in 22 countries, and there is a Spanish and a Slovak edition of the same. Total 275 papers have been published by Dr. M Vasudevan, and 35 students took PhD under his guidance. So with this brief note, I can say it is a very brief note for a long career, and with this I welcome Dr. M Vasudevan onto the stage. Yes.
Good evening to all. Today we shall see the Chemiluminescence Immunoassay, its advantages over other techniques, and some of the details of this instrument. If you want to study or analyze the substances in blood, they are of different categories. Some of them are of very high quantity, and the quantity may be less in some other analytes. See, for example, albumin, gram quantities per dl, whereas and therefore we can go for colorimetry. That was the age-old, 100 years back it was there, that method. The color is produced by a chemical reaction, and that color will be proportional to the analyte that is available in the blood. Then if you go down a little more, that is 1,000 times less than that, there will be milligram quantities. And these, for this, you can go for nephelometry, and that is also comparatively new techniques. Of course, nephelometry was there for the last 50 or 60 years. But that is brought down to the ordinary clinical labs by Agappe Diagnostics, because the price can be reduced. Now, but if you want to go further down, to the, see for example, microgram or nanogram quantities of substances present in the blood, that you need the ELISA technique, an enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, and that was there for the last 10 or 15 years in the market. But if you still go down in the quantitation, see for example, if you want to identify picogram quantities, femtogram quantities or attogram quantities, then you have to go for CLIA method. CLIA method was also there in the market, but this particular instrument has certain real advantages that I shall come to later. The advantage is that the limit of detection is a zeptomole, that is 10 to the power of minus 21, whereas most of our items will be in the picogram or femtogram quantities, and therefore there will be no problem for the sensitivity in the case if you go for CLIA. In the ELISA also, what happens that this nanogram quantities, that is the limit of the detection level, and therefore there will be sometimes there will be spurious results, whereas that effect will not be there in the CLIA if you go to CLIA. Now ELISA we are very familiar with. This is only a recapitulation. That is, if you want to study the antigen, let us say the T4, and that a particular antibody is fixed on the well, and then over that you add the patient's blood, which will contain that particular hormone or analyte, whatever you want, and the wash well, add the specific antibody, and that antibody, second antibody is added sometimes, and then that will be attached to an enzyme, usually horseradish peroxidase. You add hydrogen peroxidase, and that non-colorant substance will become a colorant substance, and that color will be proportional to the analyte that is present in the blood. That is the basic concept of ELISA, which you are already familiar with. And now, chemiluminescence. Chemiluminescence is more, as I have already told, that is more sensitive. It is 1,000 times or 100 times more, 100,000 times more sensitive than ELISA technique. Here the emission of a light, that is the luminescence, as a result of a chemical reaction is there. First we started with the luminol, that is an enzyme, and now because that is an enzyme and therefore it is difficult to preserve in the kit form. And therefore nowadays we have the advantage of acrydium. Acrydium ester is the final thing, and that nascent oxygen will be there, and that will release the light. And that chemiluminescent immunoassay have the advantage of both. That is the advantage of the sensitivity of the chemiluminescence plus the specificity of the immunological reaction that is already available in the ELISA. Therefore, this will be the chemiluminescence, that the primary antibody is fixed, then the patient's serum containing antigen is added, that the antigen or that hormone or something like that. To that you are adding the antibody, specific antibody, that will contain HRP, that horseradish peroxidase, and over that you add in this particular case I have told the luminol, but in this particular instrument that it is acrylic, and that will give the luminescence. And that is the basic concept of the chemiluminescence. In this particular instrument we have one more advantage, that there is the magnetic separation. See, there will be washing of various areas to at least 2 times or sometimes 3 times you have to give washing procedure, that is sampled, and then the antibody is added, and then that you have to separate. This separation is easier if you have the magnetic separation. And the details are not going in detail, but at the same time that will give an added advantage of that. We are testing only the picogram quantities, very small quantities, number of molecules will be very less. And if you wash just like ordinary wash centrifuge and then remove the supernatant, that washing, sometimes the precious molecules will be lost, your analytes will be lost. And to prevent that, we are using the magnetic separation here. Then the luminescence that is coming, there are two types. With the luminol or the previous reaction or original reactions, there was only a flash kinetics. That is, there is nothing, and then suddenly for a nanosecond, the time interval given in the first picture is in the seconds. Nanoseconds are there, and therefore within that nanosecond you have to capture how much luminescence is coming. And therefore that is sometimes difficult, and therefore the results will have difficulties, or sometimes there will be spurious results. Now we have within the use of the occurring esters. Because of that, see, it is the glow kinetics, the second picture, that glow kinetics is coming, where the time with the x-axis is in minutes. Therefore, you can see that there will be a lot of that particular luminescence will remain there a few minutes, and that will, because of that, no luminescence will be lost during our capturing mechanism. And therefore, the amount of light ultimately produced will be proportional to the original analyte that is present in the blood. The advantage over other techniques, that is the ELISA as well as all other techniques also. But the basic advantage is that it is more sensitive, 1,000 times or 100,000 times more sensitive than ELISA. That is the greatest advantage. The acredium esters are highly sensitive labels, and the most important point to remember is that the chemiluminescence emits light without the need of excitation of a light source outside the thing. See, for example, if you take colorimetry, you have a light source, and that light is absorbed by your reaction, and then whatever is coming out is tested or captured. But in that case, always there will be a background. In ELISA also there will be some amount of background light will be there. Here, in the chemiluminescence, the real advantage is that there is no light at all in the whole reaction mixture. And at a particular moment you get the light, and therefore the whole thing, there is no background reaction, there is no difficulty. And that is the greatest advantage, and that is the background is removed, and therefore it is becoming more sensitive. Of course, today we have the VIP machine is here. What are the advantages of this particular instrument with other instruments in the market? Of course, perhaps the best thing is that it has the lowest recurring cost, that is helpful to the laboratory as well as to the patient. And then there is better precision, negligible interference, etc. The most important point is that there is the intelligent auto dilution of the serum that prevents the Prozone reaction. If you remember what is Prozone reaction, that there will be, suppose you add, there is a different test tubes, you take the same amount of antigen, and to that different quantities of antibodies are added. You can see that initially that there will be the antigen-antibody reaction, that is the precipitation will be increased, and after some time it goes down. Even though your antibody level is being increased, the precipitation reaction is going down. That is called Prozone reaction, and this will happen if you have a lot of analyte in your reaction mixture, and that is let us say hyperthyroidism. There is a lot of thyroid antibody. In such cases, you will have to dilute the case. How can you dilute that? Only after doing the test only you can identify. But here, the machine will give a sensation that it will this will need further reaction. And I often buy sterility kits, and the recurring cost will be less. And suppose there is insufficient sample volume, the machine will also sense that and give an alarm, so that there will be no wastage of your reagents. At the moment, there are 36 kits are available, useful in this. The thyroid markers, cardiac markers, fertility markers, anemia markers, etc. And more and more such the kits will be added in future. Thyroid markers, the total thyroid T3, total T4, TSH, free T3, free T4, and anti-TPO are the items in this particular group. The T3 and T4 you are well known that these are thyroid hormones, and in the hyperthyroidism T3 and T4 will be increased, in hypothyroidism this will be reduced. Now, recently, that is a few years back, the free triiodothyronine, that is free T3 has come in the market, and this is the thing is that the last line, the reference rate is in picomole quantities. No ELISA technique could be done with that picomole quantities, and therefore chemiluminescence is only available. What is the advantage of free thyroid? Because the active principle is the free thyroid. The thyroid hormone in the blood will be complexed with other globulins, thyroid globulins, thyroid binding globulins, and therefore these are not aware that the free thyroid is the active principle, active hormone, and that is why the free T3 is coming up now. And similarly, the total thyroxine and the total thyroxine also has the free thyroxine, that is free T4. Free T4 is also, that is the active part of the thyroid hormone, and therefore that is advantage to work. Again, here you can see that in the last slide, in the picomole quantities, it is only very sensitive techniques such as chemiluminescence can identify that much small quantities in the blood. Thyroid stimulating hormone TSH will stimulate the production of thyroid hormone, and there is feedback inhibition by thyroid hormone for the production of TSH. Therefore, when hyperthyroidism T4 is increased, TSH will be decreased. The opposite, in the hypothyroidism, T4 is reduced, TSH is increased. Therefore, that is well known. And the anti-thyroid, anti-TPO, that is in the Hashimoto's disease and other such autoimmune diseases, these antibodies will be increased, and therefore that is a good parameter to study. Regarding cardiac markers, the cardiac troponins and CKMB are available in these kits. More in that group will be coming later on. CK is well known for the last 40 or 50 years. It is in the market. CK level will start rising within about 4 to 6 hours after the infarction. And a comparatively newer addition is the CKMB. That is, the MB is the specific isoenzyme of the cardiac CK is the CKMB. That particular can be available still. That specific isoenzyme CKMB can be tested here, and therefore it will give the specificity. But nowadays, more and more people are going to troponin, because CK is, there are certain advantages of troponin. One is that it is the first substance that is coming out of the cardiac infarction, and therefore the ischemia, it is within 3 hours it will be started to rise, and that also will be done for many days in increase in the blood. And the troponin is very useful as a marker at any time of the interval of the heart attack. And advantage is that it is not increased in other conditions, and therefore troponin is nowadays, people are going more and more for troponin estimation rather than CK. And this is the timeline of CK and troponin. That the red line is CKMB. That is very early in the patient, but at the same time it will come down quickly. whereas troponin will remain there for it starts early actually, but remain there for many days. Fertility markers, FSH, LH, prolactin, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, all these are the various conditions in which FSH is raised or decreased, LH is there. Prolactin, hyperprolactinemia is a cause of infertility, is a major cause of infertility in female, and therefore that is useful. Anemia markers, here at the moment we have the folic acid, vitamin B12 and ferritin. The folic acid deficiency, various anemias, and it will be seen, and vitamin B12, hematological manifestations as well as subaqueous combined degeneration will be seen. And with regard to ferritin, you know that it is the storage form of iron, and ferritin is lower in iron deficiency anemia. Ferritin is an acute phase reactant, and therefore in severe COVID-19 infection, it is significantly elevated, and that is a very good marker for hyperinflammation. Bone markers, we have vitamin D and PTH, that is parathyroid hormone. The actions I am not going in greater detail. The inflammatory markers, IL-6 and PCT, that is procalcitonin. IL-6 is the primary inducer of acute reactions, that is all the inflammatory reactions. IL-6 is the first substance that is producing all of the manifestations. And PCT, that is procalcitonin. Calcitonin is a hormone, the procalcitonin is the precursor of that hormone. But apart from that, it is markedly elevated in acute bacterial infections, but not in viral infections. And therefore, you can demarcate bacterial and viral infections by PCT test. The advantage is that if it is a viral infection, there is no need for giving antibiotics unnecessarily. In COVID-19 infection, the disease progression with complication is indicated by the higher levels of PCT. Tumor markers, only one point I want to emphasize, that the prostate specific antigen PSA was there for long ago, 10 or 15 years back we were telling that. But nowadays that is FPSA, that is free PSA has come. That is, usually the PSA is attached with a certain proteins in the blood. The free PSA is a really active portion, and therefore that free PSA can be identified nowadays because of very sensitive techniques are now available. And the free PSA is inversely related to the probability of cancer, whereas total PSA is directly related to the prostate cancer. There are many other markers. Tumor markers are available in this particular instrument and kits. And whenever there is a tumor load is there in the blood, in the body, then there will be increase in the tumor markers. When you remove the tumor by surgery or radiotherapy, then that tumor marker will be reduced. And when there is a recurrence, naturally tumor marker will also be increased. That is, the progression can be identified by the tumor marker. And this is applicable in all tumor markers, but this particular thing is with regard to PSA that is I. With that I remain. Thank you very much.